Suddenly, the roof glass shattered. The wind whispered, signaling the Count, "Hey, you've got a secret base." So, the Count and Nina embarked on an adventure, patching the roof with boards. Then, they worked together like a home makeover show, cleaning the room, laying down carpets, turning the place into a cozy little hideout for deep chats about life. From bed to nauseatic that kept the Count awake, this was a 5-star hotel, but the poor Count cowered in the cold attic, mind swelling with thoughts. Soldier searches were as random as a lottery, and the arrival of the bold official put the Count in a panic. Can I keep my relationship with Miss Carr secret? That day, the Count and Nina eavesdropped from the ceiling, seeing people angrily yelling for revolution, like kids watching cartoons. A black speaker's speech captured the Count's attention, and once the speech had concluded, he remarked with a hint of humour, "Hey, is that my outfit you're wearing? I had no idea you possessed such a remarkable taste." The other guy replied, "This outfit doesn't fit me at all. You're my brother. I've always considered you family." Originally, it was just because the Count stopped him from marrying his sister that Miss Carr saw it as an insult. But these conversations were being monitored by the bold official, who clearly had other motives. You two lived together in school and seemed pretty close, but you're different. I'd say he's your best friend, so why inquire about that? Because everything we talk about is straight to the point. You've known him for a year now. You should have some idea about his character. He wants to know Miss Carr's little secrets, but the Count isn't one to spill easily. The bold official left, moping but still carrying a few threats. The Count started pondering his situation, realizing what's the difference between living and dying. Facing reality reminded him of his usual, boring days at the hotel. Suddenly, he spotted his old friend Miss Carr getting beaten in the bar and exclaimed, "Him out. Keep an eye on this jacket for me." Before rushing in to help, those old schoolmates reunited. Their friendships seemed to rekindle, but their ideological clash sparked like fireworks. People from two different backgrounds always defend their respective classes, habitually approaching issues from their own perspectives, thereby naturally finding it difficult to see things from the other's point of view. Seeming to applaud the Count's recent heroics, a daytime starlet invited him for drinks. But the drinks had a hidden agenda for romance. Sadly, fleeting pleasure couldn't replace shattered friendship. Nina would be sent to school by her father after New Year. Without a listener by his side, the Count felt profoundly lonely, and the bold official appeared to have a particular interest in him, constantly and eagerly seeking news about Miss Carr from him. Because I made the mistake of believing that the Count was a genuine Count, and am not as highly glorified and honoured as those other nobles. Let's talk again, but I assure you, I won't betray my friends. On Christmas Eve, Nina prepared dinner for the Count, enjoying their farewell. She left a gift for him to open after midnight, and this separation was bittersweet for Nina. For the Count, having shared a year of friendship, the chance to see her again seemed like it would take an eternity. Then, he was invited by Miss Carr to the hotel staff. This place made the Count realize what true life was. The festivities didn't need fancy clothes or servants, and it was the unique joy that immersed them. Alcohol may offer a brief escape from worries, however, ultimately, everyone must confront the realities of life. Obviously, the Count's continued existence hinges entirely on Miss Carr's relentless back and forth support. Perhaps deep friendships between men remain concealed. They embrace like brothers again, their unspoken words resonating in. After midnight, the Count opened the gift Nina had left him, which turned out to be a key that could open all the hotel doors. Sunlight poured in, like a new door to life opening for him. He was suddenly flooded with thoughts of what awaited behind that locked door. Then, he swung it open, and sunshine flooded the entire room. In his mind, he thought, "I'm thinking what I'm thinking. I'm pondering what's on my mind." His thoughts sparkled like light. Sunbeams shone on the ladder, leading up to the hotel's top floor. Outside, the biting cold was remedied by the long-lost sunshine and Moscow scenery, leaving the Count exuberantly thrilled. 4 years had flown by. These days had become hard to grasp. "Mr. Halisky, have you seen this barbarism?" "Oh, yeah, we have our orders. Even the red wine in the hotel can't be taken out. This is preposterous, a grand counter to revolutionary ideals. This is an insult to the nobility's privilege. They've removed all the labels." Unbelievable. After 4.5 years, the Count had become old friends with every employee at the hotel. The little girl Nina from before had grown into a dazzling beauty, making him reminisce about her quirky childhood. Of course, the Count's lady friend Anna was also glowing even more these days. Unfortunately, officials kept their watchful eyes on these noble exiles. Miss Carr brought the latest overseas news that her grandmother had passed away, leaving just the Count as the last of the Rostovs. "In the last of the Rostovs after me, who else is there to uphold this honor?" The Count recalled his grandmother, pondering a nice farewell dinner, but it was suicidal under the current circumstances. "When my husband died, we weren't allowed to hold a service. Be careful, they'll frown upon it." There have been other social events in Moscow recently. I know what you're referring to. It happened 6 months ago. Vladimir and Yelena Treveskov were married in the Church of the Great Ascension, yes, and the police presence outnumbered the guests. Vladimir is now missing, and Yelena lies alone in fear, you might endanger your guess. We still mock General Secretary Stalin and even Trotsky's disciples, those educated, privileged folks. They think they're entitled to power, yet they're dividing the party. So, do you have any particular reason to see me? Could you tell me what you know about my background, please? Well, you were a soldier once, an infantryman, eventually rising to the rank of commander, and then to colonel. Could you please tell me how you know that? It's a gentleman's business to distinguish ranks, and only an Eastern Georgian would have lunch with a bottle of awful wine, because he's hasty, or perhaps because he misses home.